I couldn't get no better. Hit me. Check me out. So as always, you can put me in your earbuds or you can put me in the headphones. You really don't gotta look at my face. Let me get what I'm getting at so we can get to the point, in and out. I understand your attention span really isn't that long. So as I said with my previous video, as far as epigenetics and not having that gene, that desired gene that would allow one to fight back, what I'm going to do here, because some of you may say, well, that's just your opinion. Well, one of the things with documentation is with those that came before us, black or white, they came before us, and what they do is they have studies. They're the ones that allowed the study. This isn't our language. This is their language. So with their studies and with their language, they're the ones that write this information down for us to interpret, understand, and try to remedy and fix things. Understand what I'm saying? We're in hindsight 2020. So if you understand what hindsight means you're at a point in your life to where you can look in your past and say, these are the things I did good, these are the things I did bad, and some things need to be modified. That's called hindsight 2020. Well, what year is it? The year is 2020. So in essence, this is the year for us to reflect on all the things we either did or did not do, right or wrong, and modify them, correct it, fix it, so when we move forward, we don't go through this ever again. Ever again. That's hindsight 2020. So even though you may run out and say, well, Jesse, that's just your opinion. Well, Jesse, you're being too harsh. Well, you're aggressive. Well, you're this, well, you're that. Understand that I am a little bit militant. I really do. But for those that are not militant, I'm trying to appeal to you in a manner, in a way in which you can understand why some men or some women like me feel the way we feel, and we react towards certain situations, or we react towards you all because of these feelings. If the kid is hitting me, I want the ability to hit him back. But you tell me no fighting in school, talk to your teacher and hope that they work it out in your favor. That's the lessons you're teaching me. That's also the lessons you're teaching me in elementary, high school, college, and now that we at work on adults and jobs, you're telling me the same thing. Don't handle it yourself, call a lawyer. Don't handle it yourself, call a union rep. Don't handle it yourself, call somebody else to come in and do it for you. You're telling me the same exact language. And in a nutshell, you're doing the exact same thing when it comes to us. Coming amongst ourselves saying, these are our issues, and this is how we think we ought to fix it. But remember, it's hindsight 2020. So if it's 2020, we shouldn't be sitting here saying we should get on our knees and pray. Well, that's what worked back there. So I'm not saying abandoning it, but we really shouldn't go to the altar with the same enthusiasm, the same esteem as we did back there. You can't say that that's what brought us through. When I'm the individual, I can show you all the militancy acts. I can show you all the militancy action that was also taking place at the same time so-and-so was praying. So you're praying now. Has anything changed? No, because you don't have that militancy backing. You don't have that force. You don't have that, if you don't do what I say, I'm going to show you what I mean. You don't have that. That's because you guys have not put your faith in me. And because you guys haven't put your faith in me, or men and women like me, for the most part, we're in the shadows, and we're waiting to reveal ourselves. We're waiting to reveal ourselves because in the past, we said, if you don't have the heart to do it, we'll do it. All I need from you is for you to do this, that, and the third. And if it works out, then we're good. If it doesn't work out, you got me? That's what we said. And if it didn't work out, everybody's fighting their own battle. If it didn't work out, you didn't have me. So then you keep teaching other generations that don't do it that way, don't do it that way, don't do it that way. Now, 30 years later, you really don't have nobody picking up that helm saying this is how it should be done. Everybody's praying, or everybody's voting, or people just don't want to engage in general. And that can't fix anything. Let me read something to you. Read it as fast as I can, because I understand your attention span really is not that vast. It's quite short. And if you're entry level, it's even shorter. This is out of a book called Addicted to White by Jerome E. F. Fox, PhD. Slave is one whose basic effects are restricted to shame and fear. Collectively, African Americans are the progeny of cowards, those who surrendered to this slave mentality in exchange for physical survival only. What is worse is, heritable cowardness has led African Americans unwittingly into modern day slavery, devouring, exploiting, and neglecting each other at the silent behest of the white oppressor. The brains scrambled by white values, Africans become white oppressors, and their encounters with each other are no different than the real white oppressor encounters with themselves. What does that mean? Rewind the video and try to get a better understanding. So what that basically means is remember when we used to say you're acting white? Remember when we used to say, oh, you're an Oreo? So remember those terminologies back there. So in 2020, what do they call it now? Nah, I'm telling you, you guys don't read. I'm telling you, you don't read because you really are not trying to fix it. You want a little bit longer to play. You want a little bit longer to smoke. You want a little bit longer to drink. I know. So you're not really going to read what I'm going to read. This is how thick the book is. You're not really going to, and it took me probably about a couple of months because I'm distracted. Not that I read slow, but I'm distracted. And I can only give a little bit of time here and a little bit of time there and a little bit of time here. But I understand. I do understand what I read. And whatever it is that I don't read or whatever it is that I like, I will go back and highlight it so I can break it down and better understand it. And if you're not doing this, at least one day a week, if you're not getting out of the Bible, out of the Quran, if you're not reading anything other than, then you're not understanding what I'm saying. And since I have to fight so many people, what I end up having to do takes a lot of time, and I just don't have that time. What I end up doing is cross-plane references. What is cross-plane references? Some things I'm going to explain, some things I'm not. Cross-plane references is basically I have to look inside of the world of science, the world of mathematics, the world of astrology, the world of archaeology, genetics. I have to look across the broad spectrum of so many planes in order to find out its commonality. Okay, well, it happens here. I got it. But what is here? And sometimes I can find it, sometimes I can't. Not being able to find it does not mean it doesn't exist. It means I need more time. That's all it means. And because what we did in the past is if we couldn't find it, we would say it doesn't exist. So like, if you're at a certain age, and it doesn't really matter the age as much as the individual, but usually an indicator is if you're at a certain age, your information is limited and your ability to absorb new continued information is limited or resisted. Meaning, this is what I've learned thus far, and it got me here, and what you talking about, I understand, but I don't need that because what I got did me good. So in other words, because it's either different than what you were used to hearing, or somebody has came in and expound on what you thought was right and true, I pretty much can show you the non-validity in it, where it either tells you to get off of it or augments it a little bit so you can better apply it. And if you're not trying to read, if you're not trying to fully understand, the best thing you really need to do is pupil up. Because one of the ways coming out of the coward's mind state is you have to be, remember the video. I'm not going to do this every video, but I understand this is class. Class is in session. Some of you really do need class. I know YouTube is oversaturated with men and women like me. I know it is. But so is the university, so is the school, so is the academic world. It's all oversaturated, but you don't say nothing about that. You would never say nothing if I told you to pray about good idea. That sounds good. The moment I tell you to do for yourself, you go, what do you mean? You understand what I'm saying? So you're really only fighting back because I'm telling you to do for yourself. That's really all you're fighting back for. But if you're not reading, again, remember, I blabbered a little bit, but remember, I'm talking about changing the coward's gene. You can change it. Your environment changes it. How you handle your environment changes it. You can change it. One of the ways you change it is you have to read your way out, to educate yourself out of it. And I'm going to stop using that word educate, but you do have to learn. Another thing you're going to have to do is you're going to have to situate yourself around somebody that can teach you. Teach you that hard-headed is not a negative thing. Hard-headed is a positive thing. You're going to have to get it. Same thing back in elementary. When you first taught your sons and daughters, nieces and nephews and younger siblings how to fight, some like, yeah, this is me. This is all me. And then some of them were like, well, why? I don't want to do it. Then you got to teach them how, like, yo, that what you're displaying is good, but it ain't the it. So we got to show you how, the one that's resistant, how to dig deep down inside of him or her and then come out, and then 3 to 6 months later, when they were scared at hitting hurrah, they're not so scared anymore. That's because you taught it out of them. Same thing, this is applied. This is my attempts to school you. Because let's word up, let's face it. You guys need some schooling. And whatever's going on out there ain't feeding your soul. It's keeping you addicted to the system. It's keeping you addicted to being a coward. But it ain't feeding your soul, and it ain't fixing the situation. And this is my intent, to wake you guys up so you guys can help me rally behind men and women like me and fix it. No more this coward talk. No more this coward language. To be 100% honest, you got to get off of Christianity. You're going to have to get off of Christianity. I don't really deal with the biblical world, but I study it. I study it because I study all things. And I can see commonalities in all things. And I can see the relevancy in all things. But if you're just going to keep saying, Jesus will make a way, Jesus, he won't do it. If you keep on with all that jargon, you're not going to fix it. You're going to blame your husband. You're going to blame your wife. You're going to blame the job. You're going to blame the police officer because you're not trying to fix it. This is my goal, to get you guys to fix it. Problem is you guys really need to be schooled. You really need to be schooled, and you're not ready for it because you would rather play. You got to cut the play, and it's time to be adults, grow up, and man up. Remember, you got to get up, get out, and get something. It's time for us to get up, get out, and get something. And one of these something is knowledge. Black power.